Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is officially Wednesday, August 14th, and also, most notably, 24 days since Kamala Harris has done an actual interview and taken hardball questions. 24 days. I'm telling you, I didn't think if she would make it an entire month, but it quite possibly is going to be that. She is probably going to go up until the DNC. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this other than from maybe Joe, but even Joe, who was hiding in the basement in 2020, was taking interviews. So how is it a guy that's practically brain dead doing interviews for 4 years while he looked for dead people in the crowd? Remember that one? I mean, he was, shit. Joe was so far gone and is. Joe was taking interviews while also conversing with dead people. Where does that leave Kamala? Thought I'd leave you with that one, folks. Good to see you, Patriots. I see you all in the live chat. It's nice. Always getting in early because then I really see you. The Architect, Sharon, America's back. MJ looks like in here. Who do we got? Matt, Lulu, Debbie. I see all of you secret agents always in here. Dizzy. I almost said Dizzy and Devil. Dizzy and Deaf. Dane, Jason's in here. Pat's always in here. It's good to see you, folks. We got PT302 I saw earlier in here as well. Super appreciative of your comment yesterday, brother. You guys just want to highlight something. Please be careful. Speaking of comments, Autumn, I think it was Autumn, Karen Catmom. Somebody notified me. I forget now. I think it was Autumn notified me that there's somebody out there that's playing an imposter Bald Brad. Okay. My handle is Bald Brad and I'm verified. Okay, folks. So if you're curious on what that looks like, again, see my handle there. It's Bald Brad, one word. Nothing else, and make sure it has that check mark next to it, verified. That means it's me. There's no other Bald Brad out there. They might be bald, and their name might be Brad, but there's only one, and that's me. Well, let's jump into the news, folks. We got a ton of freaking news. Let's see if we could do this within an hour. I always like starting off with some kind of good news here, and I think you're all going to like this because you all don't like Caitlin Collins, and neither do I. So she was on the Colbert Report, or Colbert. I think he used to do the Colbert Report back in the day on Comedy Central. Well, last night, Stephen Colbert seemed surprised when his audience burst out laughing following his assertion that CNN did objective reporting. The reason why this is so great is not only is it because Caitlin Collins is there representing CNN and herself, but the fact that most of these people in the audience are not Republicans and conservatives. And they straight up think this guy is joking about this whole idea that CNN is objective journalists, and they're telling us, you know, the most trustworthy news. So here's Caitlin Collins. Y'all remember her, right? Because she was let's just say, not a nice person to anybody in terms of the Republican side of the aisle. But the second, you know, there's a D in front of your name, all of a sudden she's gonna. Everybody sees it, and the fact that now you have people laughing about this, that CNN is objective, blows my mind. I really don't understand why that network at this point in time just doesn't come out and say, look, yeah, we're biased. We lean more left like MSNBC does. You got to give kudos to MSNBC. Look, they're the ones that call themselves out loud. We're left leaning. The Daily Wire isn't shy about it. They're conservative. They're open about it. Me, heck, the hat, the whole attire, everything screams patriotism. Of course, I'm conservative. I'm biased towards Republicans. Shocker. You know what I mean? Like, everything I do on this channel is to call out the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party, call out their history, call out the fact that they're driving this country into the ground, and also call out the mainstream media when it's necessary. So I just don't understand why they don't come out and say it, but, you know, they get to sit there and pretend like they're unbiased. You know, they're the most trustworthy news source. You know what's also crazy? I was telling my wife this the other day. I was watching Glenn Beck on The Blaze. I had it up on the big screen. And I told her, I was like, isn't it crazy that years ago Glenn Beck used to be on CNN? Like, that used to be old school CNN where you got real reporting. Not anymore. It hasn't been like that for a long time, like well over a decade. So another clip here I want to show you all is there's a black Philadelphia woman, doesn't even matter what her race is, gets emotional describing how inflation is killing us without actually killing us. Now, I think it's a little hysterical, but I understand the point she's making here.
How hard has inflation hit you?
It hit me hard. It's hitting me hard.
What do you blame for it?
I blame the federal government at this point. If a working class mom...
Here's the problem with that, you guys. It seems great. She's blaming the federal government because who's in control of basically... Well, you have many people in control of the federal government, I suppose, right? You have 3 branches of government. But here's the thing. I'm not hearing the words, I blame Biden and Harris. she probably voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What we see from people is they don't want to sit there and internalize the mistakes that they made because they have to acknowledge it. And it's just easier to paint some sort of nameless, faceless, shadowy figure, the federal branch or the federal government, to blame. So it's not specific enough here.
Who works as a paralegal cannot buy a $2 bell pepper because it's now $5. Imagine a mother living on food stamps. Imagine a mother who's making minimum wage trying to feed children. They're killing us without killing us. If you understand that. They're killing us without telling us they're killing us. They're hurting people and help themselves. It's either feed my child or how about feed my children and I don't, but I have to go work.
How hard has inflation hit you?
Here's the thing, and I always talk about this, and this is going to come across as very unempathetic. I have empathy, right? I'm somebody of faith. I'm a Christian. I understand where she's coming from, and clearly she's having a very, very tough time, as are a lot of Americans. But the question we always have to ask ourselves is, what's the spending habits of this individual? If they're not able to sit there and afford a bell pepper that's $5, makes me wonder where you're living. And is the cost of living just too high for you to live there now? And maybe it's time to think of maybe I have to get up and move, unfortunately. So if you're struggling to feed the family in that aspect, we have to look and decide what's going on in terms of my behavior, or in other words, behavioral economics of how I'm spending. So I don't want to go too far into that, but the reason I bring that up is just because you sit there and maybe alleviate something in terms of inflation, or like we see what Joe Biden and the Harris administration is trying to do with the student loan forgiveness plan, just because you give people money or you uplift them in some way, shape, or form, doesn't mean their spending habit or their behavior is actually going to change. So are they budgeting? Are they saving? Are they working multiple jobs to get ahead? Whatever it may be. I'm not saying that she doesn't have all her bases covered, but these are just questions we want to propose, because if somebody's struggling in that way, shape, or form, maybe Philadelphia is not the place. It's probably pretty expensive. In the same way, if I was making minimum wage, you guys, I would not be living in California. You can't afford it. I'd have to move somewhere else where it's cheaper standard of living. That just is what it is. Some other good news here, though. Elon Musk is bringing the heat, folks, after union files labor charges over Trump and X. So we all were here. It broke the freaking internet. Donald Trump and Elon Musk doing their interview. Like that day, within less than, I think it was 12 hours, they hit 1 billion views with a B. Now it's upwards. I think somebody quoted it at 1.9. I think it was 1.9 billion views. Folks, this thing's seeing 2 billion plus views in like 48 hours. It's wild. Well, people didn't want us to see it, right? We all were in here in the live chat together. There was thousands of people trying to get in here, and there was an attack on Musk and the network, or in terms of, I guess, X or whatever he uses. But you also had people that just didn't want him to do it, like the union. So you had Elon Musk shot back at the United Auto Workers on Tuesday after the union filed labor charges against him and former President Donald Trump. This is wild, you guys. The greatest cutter, and taught him as someone who fires employees going on strike. Musk laughed and responded, yeah, as Trump spoke. So Trump called Musk, again, the greatest cutter. That doesn't necessarily mean you're cutting employees. It could be cutting things that are frivolous, things that you don't need to sit there and get by. Mind you, the economy is not doing as great as people portray it to be. I think there's a lot of smoke going on. But although he declined to mention specific company, reported that Trump had been referring to a time when Musk fired a great deal of staff at Twitter, the social media platform he purchased in 2022 and rebranded as X. Well, that's because the whole company was just absolutely bloated. Doesn't that show you guys? He just broke the internet the other day, and they had a bunch of people that didn't need to be there in the first place, and so he just fired them. Why would you not? If you can have the same company being ran in the same way with less people, why would you bloat the company when there's no need to do it? The UAW, in response to the exchange, announced that it has filed federal labor charges against Musk and Trump for allegedly making illegal attempts. Here we go. Oh, God, come on. Illegal attempts to threaten and intimidate workers engaging in protected activity. It's just silly. They don't agree with what they have to say. They don't like it. Their feelings were hurt. So now all of a sudden, everybody has to sue everybody in this country. And now that's up there. And all it is just to sit there and create more paperwork, more problems for these two individuals. I swear, it's so interesting how many lawsuits people get filed for just sitting there and hanging around Donald Trump. But if you hang around Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, hell, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, it's amazing how no lawsuits. It's just weird. I mean, there are there, but nothing in comparison. But you sit there and endorse Trump, immediately lawsuits. It's the wildest thing. Immediately the FBI is knocking on your door. Really crazy stuff. And so the fact that they had that X interview didn't just lead to the Europeans not wanting it to happen, not just leading to the Democrats not wanting to happen, but Kamala Harris comes out and attacks Elon for all this stuff as a lackey for Team MAGA. Elon Musk literally said his position during that interview, and it wasn't anything crazy. Hey, just want safer cities, don't want massive amount of crime, want a better education system. I want to fix the debt problem we have here in the country. And I don't want massive illegal immigration because I don't want my children being harmed. And our infrastructure can't handle it. Neither can our social culture. That's it. Nothing. And we all said here, oh, it's common sense. Yeah. By the way, folks, I don't know, 15 years ago, that used to be the Democrats' platform too. You just have a moderate Democrat displaying his used to be moderate Democrat platform, and that was it. And Democrats don't even recognize it anymore. That's the baffling thing. I'm for protecting this country's national security with borders. Democrats are like, what's that? I don't want to do that. I don't want you transing and sexualizing my kids. Why not? Like, it's weird that Democrats are all for all this crazy things. Transing your kids, illegal immigration, record crime, homeless, allowing drugs to pour across the border, giving terrorists billions of dollars. I'm telling you that the party isn't recognizable anymore. Why are they still called the Democrat Party? That's my question for anybody out there. They're not Democrats. What do you mean? Who voted for Kamala? What part of this party is Democratic anymore? Quite literally, it's not even in the name in terms of nominating the person that they put forth. Nobody did. Nobody voted for the lady. Well, you got delegates. Where'd they come from? Who gave them the voting to sit there and do that? Was it Joe Biden? Well, that's not very Democratic because those 14 million votes voted for Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris. They should just be called the Progressive Party. That's it. It's a name change. You're progressive. Just own up to it. Call it what it is. Thank you, Jason, for the $5. Donald J. Trump is our president, and F Jesse Ventura. Yeah, I saw Jesse Ventura. Look, Jesse Ventura has been off his rocker for a while. I can't even do a Jesse Ventura. I almost did a Trump impression. Oh, God. So you had this happen. I called this out in real time, but I want to make sure I show it again. So Vice President Kamala Harris lashed out at Elon Musk on Monday as billionaire tech entrepreneur spoke with President Donald Trump. There was an email from the Harris presidential campaign which contained links to online fundraising platform ActBlue. Folks, we've seen this again from James O'Keefe that went to people that donated to, say, Biden Harris or whatever. It was like $2, $4, sometimes it was $100. Well, you have these billionaires, sometimes millionaires, giving ActBlue money, and what they're doing is distributing that money through all the people prior that, donated to ActBlue. So there's people that have donated $200,000 that never did. And James O'Keefe's knocking on their door doing real journalism. It's amazing, right? That some dude that's not even part of the mainstream media is doing real journalism, knocking on freaking doors going, hey, yeah, are you Nancy? Yeah, okay, yeah. Nancy Drew? Okay, yeah. Hey, did you donate through ActBlue to the Joe Biden Harris thingy and donate like $25? Yeah, that's me. Oh, good. Hey, just gonna ask you real quick, Nancy. Did you donate $250,000? She goes, what? I don't even have that in retirement. So they're doing this with multiple people. They're funneling money. It's all a bunch of foozy. It's all fake. So she featured the headline, the two worst people that are now live. You people, are live this evening. Oh, Jesus. Tiny on my screen. Let's do this. Bam. It took multiple swipes at Musk saying that the richest person in the world is a lackey for Team MAGA. Lady, he's literally a Democrat. He's part of your party. Using the vast fortune and broad reach to try to control our democracy. Folks, She's using Act Blue. That's funneling money for billionaires. What? Lady, you really think that we're all supposed to pretend that you got $250 million overnight and it just somehow funneled from grassroots people that can't afford to pay for a fucking bell pepper that we just saw in the first clip? They can't afford to go from a $2 bell pepper to a $5 bell pepper. They're killing us, is what she said. That's not my words, right? We all saw it, Patriots. They're killing us without killing us. Yeah, no, these grassroots Americans from Philadelphia and others are really donating $200,000 to the Harris campaign. It's all grassroots, you guys. Yeah, no. Give me a break. So she sent, I didn't have the image. I showed the image the other day. Let's see if I can get it up for you guys. It should be right here. She sent this. Y'all remember this? We posted this during the Elon Musk thing. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help reelect Trump. He's using his purchased platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. I thought we weren't going to push that type of rhetoric anymore after he got shot. That's what I was told. I was told by Democrats, hey, we need to tone down the rhetoric. We can't use the words like threat and hateful anymore. We can't use existential threat, even though she came out like 24, 48 hours and was saying he's an existential threat. I told you they weren't going to follow their own rules, right? They just sit there. They expect everybody else to bow down to them because they're kings and queens on the Democrat side of the aisle. You know, we're just peasants, you guys. We're just ants. We're nothing to these people. To Trump, though, we're Americans, and he's going to put us first. So you had that. And one thing I want to highlight, this is the one thing I really want to highlight from that interview, is the idea that former President Donald Trump said on Monday evening that he would love for Musk to sit there and work on a new government commission dedicated to eliminating wasteful government spending. This is, I pray, the spending is my number one issue, you guys. Illegal immigration is my second issue in terms of hierarchy. I pray that this actually happens. I want to give you guys an example. And actually, PT-302 is a former veteran, World War II guy, Navy. So he'll understand there's these bolts that go on aircraft. And they're just simple bolts. You can get them for pennies on the dollar if you go to like Harbor Freight or you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, or whatever. You can get them for pennies. I mean, they're not expensive. You can get a bag of about 1,000 of them for like $5. I mean, it's cheap. So somebody in Congress did this. This happened last year. Held up a bag in front of him. I think it was the Secretary of Defense, and goes, "Sir, how much do you think this is?" And he couldn't quote it. So a $5 bag of bolts that goes on aircraft. Folks, we're paying of what? So if you would have paid $5 for it, $85,000 a bag. We're paying $85,000 for a $5 bag. It's wasteful spending. It is wasteful spending. And it makes you wonder where all this shit's going. Makes you wonder, right? Oh, maybe it's going to terrorists. Maybe it's going here or there. I hope this happens. And they called it where the heck is it at? Here we go. The Government Efficiency Commission. I really love this. Now, I wouldn't love it if Democrats are on it because there's not much efficiency with Democrats. Granted, there's not much efficiency with the government in general. But I want to make sure I highlight that because I really hope that goes through. And Musk is good at cutting, and we need to sit there and look at our country more of a business rather than somebody that's just going to sit there and spend, and drive our future children, grandchildren, whoever, right into the ground. Now, what's also astonishing here is Washington Post has asked Harris one question, but slams Musk for proposing softball questions to Trump. Now, I do want to agree it is softball questions, but remember, it wasn't an interview. It was a conversation. And during a conversation, you don't exactly sit there and make it a hostile situation when you're having a nice, chat with the boys, right? So it's funny here because the Washington Post has a myriad of news outlets that have not asked literally a single question to Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, they're reaching out to her, and she's just completely declining her. Mind you, it's been 24 days. 24 days, no interview. It's astonishing. Democrats like, we're cool with it. No big deal. Media are covering for her. Can you imagine if Trump went in the basement for 24 days? He'll lose his shit. He didn't do an interview for 24 hours, and they were going after him. And he's like, I'm doing radio interviews. Like, I'm doing podcasts. Like, just because you don't see me out there doing a rally, which is what they hit him over the head with. He's like, I'm doing other things. Where's Harris? Why aren't you not calling out her BS? So, they criticized Musk's interview for President Donald Trump on X, carping that Musk asked softball questions. Who cares? At least he's asking questions to somebody. You aren't doing jack bleep. You're not even doing investigative journalism. What's the Washington Post doing? You would think that they would actually go sit there and maybe knock on Kamala Harris's door and be like, hey, just trying to get an interview. Like, wouldn't that get views if you showed up to that lady's house with a microphone? Like, yeah, Kamala, hello, you there, knock, knock. Or at least trick her, you know what I mean? Get like a Girl Scout out there trying to sell some cookies all dressed up, and then like sprout out of the bushes. Gotcha, bitch. Try to get an interview from her. I don't know, but it's just silly. It's just they don't like it because it garnered over almost 2 billion views and they hate it. And here it is. I mean, CNN anchor pushes for Kamala to do a sit-down interview. I don't know how much they're really pushing. They'll push Donald Trump, ask him questions. Why are you a racist, Donald? Why did you say that people are nice in the Charlottesville that happened 10 years ago? Why are you doing this about January 6th? Like, rather than going, hey, Donald, let's talk about, like, what policy did you implement, in the 2 years before COVID that allowed our economy to flourish? Like, what was it that really allowed us to have more money in our pockets and allowed the economy to really grow? What were those policies? And actually, do you plan on implementing again? And maybe what did the Biden-Harris administration remove from your policies to allow the economy to grow in such a way? Hey, Trump, Joe Biden said on the campaign trail in 2020 that China was going to eat your lunch. And kind of looking at the Biden-Harris campaign on what they've done, it seems like they only put forth a few sanctions and haven't actually lifted any of the sanctions that you put in place. Do you feel that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been harsh on China? And if so, what were those harsh penalties they put against them? And how are you going to react to China for releasing a COVID-19 virus from Wuhan upon the entire globe? Like, do you notice, like, these questions I'm literally just pulling out of my you-know-what? Like, I haven't thought about them. There's nothing scripted here. Like, why can't you propose a question like that? Hey, Donald, we've had record illegal immigration. Joe Biden has actually shattered more records than Michael Phelps has. What do you plan on doing in terms of policy and actual implementing, deporting some of these people? And are you going to deport every single one, or are you going to be vetting some of these people that are actually contributing to our society and putting them along a path of citizenship? Or are you going to utilize local law enforcement, ICE, as well as the military to deport 25, 30 million people? Allow them to answer the question and maybe do a follow-up and just for a clarification. Nothing wrong with that, right? But, hey, January 6th, Charlottesville, you freaking racist. You know what I mean? Like, spitting on the guy. It's like, come on. So they're allegedly supposing, pushing for Kamala Harris. But here's the thing, you guys. She's not doing anything. No. Here it is. There's nothing on her schedule, Democrats. I know we're Republicans, Patriots, Independents in here, but there might be a Democrat. There's nothing on her schedule.
What's on the vice president's schedule today?
Well, she's traveling and talking to voters and getting her message out there to the American people, something that she's been doing from the very start of this campaign and something that she certainly did when she was President Biden's running mate as vice president. But look, you just mentioned the speech she's going to be giving in
that's right. I was asking about today, and I don't think she's got any campaign events on the schedule today, does she?
Well, she and Governor Walz have been traveling across the country. They hit nearly every battleground state last week. On the campaign trail, they raised $36 million within the first 24 hours.
JD Vance is doing like 4 fucking interviews on a Sunday. Trump's out there doing like 3 podcasts, a rally, you know what I mean? Dodging bullets left and right. This is the same lady. Do y'all recognize her? This is the same lady that straight up told us, Joe Biden's sharp. He's done more than 2 multiple, God, I can't speak, administrations out there because I'm lying. This is the lady that said Joe Biden's sharp. That he's with it. And now she's working for the Harris campaign. I told you get promoted. It's a freaking theme with that party, man. You sit there and lie and gaslight people and your own party, which I don't know what it is with Democrats loving being gaslit by their own people. She was the Biden spokesperson. And now she transitioned and got elevated for the Harris campaign. Hey, well, she has nothing on her campaign schedule today. Like, why is she not doing an interview with us? Well, she traveled to multiple states with Psycho Tim Walz, and they need a break. She's literally not doing anything. So, what you do have though is these elites, these professors, these educational institutions. I'm gonna put that in air quotes. These educational institutions. They're not anymore, you guys. College is a joke nowadays. Folks? Jean-pierre went to Columbia. Yeah, No, time out. Karine Jean-Pierre went to Colombia. Yeah, the lady that can't answer basic questions, that needs a binder to answer anything, that gets paid $180,000. That's not including benefits. So she's probably making over $200,000. All the while, just like 2-3 months ago, she goes, yeah, you know, the pay's not that great here. What? You make like 5x than the average American does, and you're going to bitch and complain the fact that you have to walk on a podium and answer basic questions like, what's the president's schedule today? Is he going to be meeting with anybody? Hey, why are you blaming Republicans for everything? It's astonishing. Dizzy, thank you so much for the $5. PT302 Arthur, American hero, the greatest generation ever. God bless you. Amen to that. Amen to that. You know what? His daughter is Karen Catmom, I believe, and she sets him up every morning. He lives, I believe, in Connecticut. So she is across the country and communicates with him long distance just to help him get connected to the show. I mean, that freaking moved my heart yesterday, folks. Reading that comment, the fact that this guy spends time to try to get connected every single morning to this show and listens. I mean, it speaks volumes to the people that watch this show, right? All the patriots in there. It speaks volumes. You guys care, man. That motivated me. I got to get my tushy out of bed in the morning and make sure that we sit there and get the news to the American people. Damn right, the best generation. PT302, you might not know, my grandfather was in Pearl Harbor. He was on the USS Reed, one of the few ships that actually, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, to get out. I have a picture of his journal from that morning when he was getting up and to do his laundry. And next thing you know, bombs started going off. So we got a family of Navy here. Well, my dad was also in the Navy too. So both on destroyers. I feel you, brother. Thank you so much for serving this country. God bless. We support our vets and hail. We support our police departments too. Anything, fire department, don't matter. First responders, we support here. So you have, again, Cornell here doing this whole thing. Cornell University recently placed a press release on its webpage that 3 professors provided insight into Harris's candidacy. Oh, there's no question that Harris's candidacy will open up a torrent of misogyny. Oh, come on. Are you serious? A term coined by this individual of misogyny and racism. Oh, here. It's every election cycle, is it not? Yeah. Folks, these people are at Cornell. Does it pick up on the fact that Democrats are literally the party of slavery? Democrats are the party of slavery. They didn't vote in majority numbers for civil rights. They're the party of the Klan. Those people that were out there in Charlottesville with their dumbass pickets and looking like idiots, yeah, those are Democrats. I don't care. They might be registered Republicans. It's not a Republican ideal. It's not a conservative ideal. We don't like racism. We hate racism. It's evil. I know I say that all the time, but it's obvious not to these people. But you're misogynistic, you guys. You're racist. Remember, particularly anti-black racism, although Harris is also, of course, South Asian. You guys, Harris's family owned fucking slaves. I don't mean to cuss. Her family are slave owners from the past. You're calling us racist and misogynistic. But they're going to vote for a person that actually owned slaves and denigrated black people. It's astonishing. There's no thought. Oh, hold it together, Brad. It's our job to fight. I knew this was going to be freaking good. I knew this was going to be good. It's our job to fight it in our circles and even ourselves. Opposing the misogyn, was that misogynor? Is that how you say it? Harris is about to face loudly and vocally. Is the only way forward. The fate of our country hangs precariously in the balance. Why? You guys have had it all 4 years. This has been a tough year for black women in leadership. Claudine Gay, she plagiarized the entire stuff. She lied about stuff. Yo, her comments, she couldn't even sit there and say what happened on October 7th was bad. Like what's going on to Jews is terrible. She couldn't even do it. It's critical for black women with platforms to work together to rise above the misogyny that Harris will face. Folks, these are people speaking from Cornell, like one of the highest institutions, and somehow they're still oppressed. There's misogyny out there. Oh, I should have saved this for an entire episode itself. She failed to stand up for Jewish students on campus who have been facing anti-Semitic attacks, who have been facing physical assault, correct? And that's why she was let go. There's surprisingly a lot of Jewish people that go to Harvard amidst even the affirmative action that they put in place to replace Jewish people and Asian people and white people with others. So that was there for you. I just thought you guys would get a kick out of that. And something else to get a kick out of, Tom Cotton went over to X and he basically slapped Kamala Harris upside the head. And it's a freaking phenomenal tweet. If y'all haven't seen it, I'll make sure I get it out to you guys. We'll make sure we take care of you. But before we go over that, look, folks, the economy is rough. Things are freaking shellacked. And you need something. And we recently had some monumental news that no one is talking about here. For the first time ever, the interest, and we'll get into this later if we have time, the U.S. pays on its debt surpassed every individual budget item except Social Security. That's right. The U.S. now spends, folks, more on interest than our national defense or even Medicare. And it's only getting worse as big government continues to spend recklessly. And that's why Elon Musk wants to put forth that commission to get rid of wasteful spending. That's why savvy Americans are turning to gold. If things freaking go rock bottom, you're going to be able to use that. Something not tied to the inflated dollar. You too can help with Birch Gold Group. For 20 years, Birch Gold, everybody's heard this platform, has helped tens of thousands of Americans protect their retirement savings by converting IRA or 401k into an IRA into gold. Learn more at birchgold.com/rumble and get a free, no obligation info kit, folks, no string attached, on diversifying your retirement into a IRA, a gold IRA. Birch Gold has earned an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, BBB, and thousands of happy customers. Protect your IRA and 401k, folks. We're looking into going into recession here. You've all heard it for about 4 years now. Go to birchgold.com/rumble to get your free info kit, folks. You don't have to get anything. Like, you don't have to pay anything. It's just there for an ad for you guys to make sure that your portfolio is diversified and you got all your bases covered. You shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket because they might be crushed. It's always good to have money there on the side. So make sure you check out Birch Gold and get that free info kit. So look at this tweet from Tom Cotton here. Tom Cotton slammed Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday, comparing her campaign promise to secure the U.S. southern border to O.J. Simpson, saying he would find the killer of his former wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ron Goldman. Kamala Harris promising to secure the borders like O.J. Simpson promising to find the real killer. You know, it used to be the Democrats were the best at those one-liners and those zingers and those memes. But no, I think Republicans are really taking a hold of that and are now some of the best. And this is where we transition really into the main meat of the show. They're really like the fact that the United States is on a high alert and they're not notifying the United States, meaning the American citizens. We have over 1,000 terrorists in this country, according to the CIA. And those are ones or some that we know about. Folks, there's terrorists living here that were a part of Benghazi. Y'all remember that one where Hillary Clinton just kind of sat there and shrugged and put her hand on the desk in front of Congress. The congressional hearings didn't give two bleeps about people being attacked. Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah, we know, the CIA knows the cars they drive. They know where they live. They know who their family members are. Yeah, they're here. There's also people living here that the United States knows about that are supposed to be tried for murder in their home country, but we're allowing them to stay here. Yeah, this is all according to the CIA and the FBI. So I'm not just pulling this out of my, you know what, we've covered in the past. So there's a massive caravan coming to the southern border. They're going to be allowed in. We, according to DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, have allowed about 90% of those that hit the border into the interior of the country. So you really do have about 25 million illegal aliens. It's probably close to 30 in totality, which makes up more than half of the population of our states. And some of them are getting IDs to be able to vote. And some of them are registering to vote. So let that one sink in. Well, you have a sheriff here from California slamming Kamala Harris for using his photo in a campaign ad intended to gaslight the American people into believing she somehow is tough on crime. Love this.
Absolutely does not have my support. Here in California, we want a leader who's going to support law enforcement. As you know, she helped support BLM rioters trying to bail them out of jail. She was a huge supporter of defunding the police. When you get to that little task force there collecting that methamphetamine, it was a lot of local law enforcement working hard to bring the drugs off the streets. In that particular situation, she came in, she didn't even shake law enforcement's hand, she did the soundbite, and she left.
I forgot to even call out to Robert Bridgeford. Thank you so much for being a part of the Bald Brad Army. I see you, brother. Thank you. Keeping the lights on here, folks. We do have a membership. Would love for you to join. It's 99 cents. literally 99 cents a month, just so you can get a cool badge and everything like that. There's other ways of getting a higher membership, but I want to make sure I call you out, brother. Sorry I missed that. Thank you so much. Going to be more than happy to have you part of the Bald Brad Army, true American patriot, baby.
What we need to do is make sure that we have a leader who's going to support law enforcement. I couldn't, in good faith, standing there alongside my colleagues, remotely give the implication that we were supporting Kamala Harris. And to note, during that time, if you research just a little bit, when she was the Attorney General under Governor Brown, she removed over 50 different task force from Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement under her command. And so that's not a leader we need for law enforcement. We need someone who's going to stand behind law enforcement, just like Donald Trump does.
Hey, law enforcement shakes Donald Trump's hand. You don't see that doing with Kamala. Do you guys see police officers on the tarmac shaking Kamala Harris's hand, or military personnel standing there like Navy SEALs, veterans, just to get a glimpse of the guy? And he walks over. How you doing? Goddamn, look how good you guys are. This is American muscle, baby. Oh, you keeping America safe, huh? Vote for Trump. Like, he goes over and shakes their hand. He takes photos. I'm telling you, I really don't see that with Kamala Harris. I don't see police officers lining up to shake her hand. I don't see military personnel shaking her hand. I don't see any military on the tarmac other than those that have to be. They're forced to by their sergeants to be out there. You guys, Kamala Harris's border plan for American borders. She let in 10 million illegal immigrants without any vetting. That's a lowball number, by the way. That's the ones we know about. Make sure illegal immigrants get free health care paid for by you. As we talked about in yesterday's episode, there's not a single person in here that gets free health care. Not a single person. You probably either paid in the system or are benefiting from the system that you paid into earlier, or you're paying your insurance right now like I am. You gotta be wondering, I thought Obamacare was supposed to make my premiums go down. I thought it was supposed to make everything better. Well, when you have 10 million people that are getting free health care, because you can just walk into the ER and get any sort of health care you want, and somebody has to pay for it. It's not like they just register a loss in totality. Well, your premiums go up because you're having to pay for that. You go into Kaiser Medical Center, that's paid for by those that are inside of the network. Well, my premiums go up because now I have to pay for somebody else's medical or health insurance that isn't paying into the system in the first place. Like, I think this should be taken care of, but how about we don't allow people to come into the country that benefit from our safety net that ultimately is crumbling the rest of Americans when we're already struggling in the first place. She wants to decriminalize illegal border crossings, which we saw. So it's only going to get worse, you guys. Again, the title of the show is Watch Out, United States on High Alert. She gets another 4 years, you guys. I don't know what's going to happen. She wants to free tens of thousands of criminal illegal immigrants from ICE detention center. Wait till I wait to those news stories of the rapes and murders that are going on. We got like 5 of them. Reject funding for additional Border Patrol agents. She lies about that. Oh, I want more Border Patrol agents. No, you don't. Give citizenship to over 20 million illegal immigrants and make them eligible for Social Security. Why do they want to do that? Well, by the way, they're already eligible for Social Security. We covered that. Illegal aliens are already tapping into your Social Security. People like me are looking at only getting 70% of their Social Security, and Jeff, who's also my age, I'm 35. So we're supposed to be excited the fact that the government's stealing 20 to 30% of our money that we put in, and by force, by the way, by force. And I'm supposed to be excited about that they just stole about 20 to 30% of my damn money that I could have invested myself. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of Social Security whatsoever. And leave it up to Democrats for the ones that put in Social Security. So Kamala Harris has consistently lied to the American people about the threat of terrorism across the border. Here we go.
A wall. And by definition, we don't need to build a wall. And by definition, just plain speak, basic English language definition, it is not an emergency.
We talk.
Not an emergency, you guys. She doesn't care. Why would it be an emergency to her? Not a big deal. Just 10 million people. We don't know who the hell you are. No, it's fine. Terrorists, sex traffickers, people selling children off into slavery. Remember, she and Biden lost 85,000 minimum children to slavery and sex trafficking. Just don't know where they went.
Talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder.
To suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Well, I love this job. I'm just going to back that up a little bit.
who are trying to southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Out of the terror arrests across the country, we've learned several men with suspected ties to ISIS living in the U.S. have been taken into custody.
Sources familiar with the matter tell us the men crossed the southern border, some over a year ago.
Almost 100 people on the terrorist watch list were released into the U.S. by the Biden administration during a 3-year period.
Tonight, an alarming development in the border crisis. Among the record number of migrants crossing the southern border was a member of an Afghan terror organization.
We are learning that under the Biden and Harris administration, the Border Patrol agents encountered at least 375 illegal migrants on the terror watch list right on the southern border. But what's more shocking is at least 99 of these individuals were actually released into American communities. Includes at least 2,000 Afghan nationals, 33,000 Chinese nationals, 551 Iranian nationals.
Not a big deal. I kind of just want to let it cycle through. It paused it actually at a really great moment here for me.
520 Syrian nationals.
It's like the media knows now.
Nationals.
To suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Yo, that was a good clip, was it not, Patriots? Jesus. Oh, freaking liar. Oh, she's a liar. So they're not coming across the border. Look, you guys, she went over to South America, right? She went to Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and she said, well, they're coming here because of climate change. There's a famine. There's drought there. Well, you know, they're just coming here for a better life, really. Just coming here for a better life, huh? Well, you let me know if this individual's just here for a better life. He just has to feed his family.
Also new at noon, an illegal immigrant from Mexico is accused of raping a boy.
Whoa. I thought it was, wait, what? Oh, my mistake. My mistake. I thought it was, I thought you were going to say, hey, he came over and was donating to charities and he started a church and then he has a small congregation of illegal immigrants and they're trying to assimilate into this country. They're really grassroots. They're trying to play into the American dream. They're actually going out and cleaning up the streets for us. They're picking up trash on the beach. Well, hold on a second, guys. Oh, my bad. I thought this was a good story.
Noon, an illegal immigrant from Mexico is accused of raping a boy.
What? No. I thought it was because of climate change. Hold on a second. What?
Accused of raping a boy. This is who investigators arrested. 34-year-old Filiberto Gonzalez. The Hispanic man is accused of raping a 10-year-old boy twice. Investigators arrested.
Did they say twice?
Accused of raping a 10-year-old boy twice. And is accused of raping a 10-year-old boy twice. Investigators arrested him at his home on Laurel Lane on Monday afternoon. He's awaiting a bond hearing before a justice court.
Yeah. This is Biden Harris. I'm gonna keep my composure. Those that are longtime listeners, I've been good. Pat knows. Pat loves my rants. We're not gonna lose it now. This is Kamala Harris. Don't get me wrong. My blood pressure's through the roof right now. I'm irate about this, but I have positivity. There's nothing positive about this. It gets me going. Okay. You guys know that. It's my number 2 issue, illegal immigration. We're not done with it yet. Oh, no. Migrant accused of raping teen released on a $500 bail despite ISIS calls to hand him over to agency. This is not the same person, by the way. We're on a new illegal immigrant doing this. Oh, yes. So you just saw an illegal alien, this guy right here, raping a boy, a 10-year-old boy, twice, okay? That's here illegally in Mississippi. Now you have a Haitian migrant charged with the rape of a 15-year-old girl in a Massachusetts hotel. And I think Jennifer had us playing in a bar in Massachusetts. Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's always great reaching out to other patriots. Well, he was released on a $500 bail, you guys. Oh, you could do it, Brad. Keep it together. Last week, despite ongoing requests from ICE to transfer him into its custody, a 26-year-old Haitian national, guys say stop it. I see in the chat. No, he's just here for a better life, folks. Remember, he has a family to feed. Okay? He's here to just assimilate in our country and create our values, our constitution. He really wants to find a faith so that he can actually gain some sort of morality in his life. And he's just here to capitalize on what everybody else wants to, the American dream. This didn't really happen, you guys. This alleged rape didn't take place. A Haitian national was allowed into the U.S. via a controversial parolee program that allowed up to 30,000 migrants to fly in each month. I was told early on that didn't happen. I was called a liar 2.5 years ago when I was showing body cam footage of police officers finding these undocumented planes on the tarmac that wouldn't have the lights on around them because they were escorting illegal immigrants into the interior of the country under the dark of the night. For those that are P1 listeners, Bald Brad Show viewers from 2.5 years ago, we covered that footage many of times. We've had videos that were taken down by YouTube because we covered what was going on. So now they're just out in the open willing to report it. Before we're conspiracy theorists, before we're doing cheap fakes and deep fakes years ago. No, we were covering this since day one. Now people just want to openly talk about it. Oh yeah, they were just flying people in, 30,000 people. I was talking about this 2 to 3 years ago. So migrants flying each month, charged with aggravated rape of a child. Just here for a better life, you guys. Just here for a better life. And just let loose with $500 bail. Oh, what's the big deal? No, he's just trying to get a job. Yeah. Oh, boy. Folks, we're on high alert, okay? Oh, we're not done yet. Oh, I got more of these stories for you. This is just in the last couple days. Yeah, the FBI, along with Chuck Grassley and the CIA, our entire intelligence apparatus is on high alert right now without notifying the American citizens. You have thousands of illegal aliens in this, terrorists. You have millions of illegal aliens into this country, and they're just allowing this to happen to your cities. To your cities and your states, when it should have never happened in the first place. It's terrible. But we're done. Oh no! You think we're done? You think we're done with these stories? No.
Jamal is charged for drunk driving in a fatal crash this weekend in Branson. Branson police say William Garcia Rodriguez flipped the truck he was driving. Denny Almacar Rizzo of Nicaragua, a passenger in the truck, was killed in the crash. Garcia told police he ran away from the truck without checking on anyone.
Why? Oh, these are good. I'm told these are all good people. Every single one of them. Some of them are good people, by the way, obviously. Like Elon Musk said. I actually agree with Elon Musk. But the problem is we don't know who anybody is.
Nicaragua, a passenger in the truck, was killed in the crash. Garcia told police he ran away from the truck without checking on anyone since he was scared of being deported. A breath test showed his blood alcohol level was at 0.272. Garcia admitted to drinking 10 to 12 beers and blacking out before driving.
A Jordanian citizen in the U.S. illegally is accused of sexually assaulting a Wausau woman. Now, we do want to warn you that the details of this story may be disturbing. The victim met the suspect, Mohammed al-Sayiri, on a Muslim dating website back in May. According to court documents, the two then met in person in Nashville, Tennessee in mid-July and then returned to Wausau afterwards. Al-Sayiri allegedly sexually assaulted the victim several times over several weeks. That was until police were called on August 1st. Now we're learning that the assault started after the victim found out Al-Sayiri allegedly entered the U.S. illegally through the Mexican border and had paperwork for an immigration court hearing in November. She also found out that he allegedly had a wife and 3 children back in Jordan and had been actively courting a 3rd woman in Canada. Al-Sayiri was arrested at the Central Wisconsin airport while trying to board a plane back to Nashville. A Jordanian citizen.
Do you guys want? Do we need to keep going with these? Should we just keep going? Folks, it's endless. Every day. Remember I told you, we could do an article or video every day on this happening. And I mean that in all seriousness. We really could. It's been a while since we covered the video, but that's the main theme here is the United States is under attack, man. I don't care which way you put it. We have been invaded. I know people don't like that term, but that is what happens. It's never this. What you've seen in the United States, and I mean this in all literal sense, has never happened in the history of mankind. Since human existence has ever participated in national sovereignty like actual nations, you've never seen anything like this. And it's all to blame because of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party has a virus in terms of their ideology, and it's spreading. And it's moving more towards the progressive left of the aisle. Democrats need to change their ways. If they don't, if you're a moderate Democrat, you need to be like Elon Musk and come over to the light. Because the dark side is moving really far dark. And you know what? Our children are paying the price. When you start messing around with people's children, that's where things go south. Leave the children alone. Stop raping people. Stop killing people. Stop drinking and driving. I mean, it's common sense. Kamala wants to allow them to walk across the border. Remember that Peter Ducey clip with Karine Jean-Pierre, and she said it wasn't happening? Oh, no, it's not real. Not real. But, you know, we're just called out for common sense, right? Oh, no, I mean, it's right here. We're called out for telling the truth, but they're calling us out for telling lies when, again, actually we're telling the truth. So here's Dana Bash slammed for lying about remarks made by Trump-Musk during their talk. So Dana Bash said that, oh, well, we're just all liars, right? Remember how Karine Jean-Pierre said we're just putting out cheap fakes, deep fakes, we're putting out misinformation, disinformation, the Russians are doing this and that. Isn't it interesting we spent years talking about the Russians, but yet the Iranians just hacked the Trump campaign and everyone's kind of cool with it on the Democrat side of the aisle? No big talk about election interference there. Isn't that weird? No investigations really opening up by the Democrats and going full blown on this. They're meddling in our elections. Harris is a part of the Iranians, right? Like, we have actual proof that they did this, and that there's no talk about Harris maybe working with the Iranians. I don't think she is, by the way, but you understand what I mean. It's just weird. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. We don't want to sit there and actually look under the hood on that one in real time. So this whole talk about Musk talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and she said here, Bash played a deceptively edited clip, of course she did, from the X Space interview where Trump and Musk discussed some of the risks involved with nuclear energy, particularly if people are able to move back to areas where nuclear power plants have had accidents. And so they were talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki is what they were. But Bash played the clip. She said that they were sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, is now okay. And I got that clip for y'all right here. Go ahead and play that.
I want to play one exchange that was kind of classic. Well, there were a lot of exchanges that were classic Donald Trump, but this one really stuck out to us.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So it's really not something that, you know. So it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, I think 80 years ago next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay. Kind of trying to blow off the impact of that. I want to play.
See the manipulation from that? It's just disgusting. And remember, they're supposed to be unbiased. They're supposed to be, that's the most trusted news source out there. The ones that cover up the illegal immigration that's taking place. Again, the ones that are covering up the fact that over 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl that's been allowed to pour across our border. Folks, that's more than people in wartime in some cases. Talk about the fact that, or cover up the fact, again, that 85, probably close to 100,000 children have been sold off into slavery and sex trafficking, murdered and raped since Joe Biden's entered into office. It's funny how nobody wants to talk about that. But, you know, when people are drinking out of clean water and faucets and drinking fountains during the Trump era, all of a sudden you have to go down there. It's weird how none of the Democrats care about the border anymore, going down there to see how, you know, thousands of people are being impacted. It's astonishing how AOC all of a sudden doesn't care about the border. It's astonishing that none of them are down there with their camcorders and taking pictures anymore. Weird, right? It's weird how all of that takes place. It's weird how all of a sudden a white cop shoots a black woman in the freaking head right there as she's about to throw hot water on him. No riots. Where's Black Lives Matter on it? It's weird, right? Where's the police brutality on that one for blowing a lady's head off for misunderstanding and nothing happens? It's weird, right? No police brutality there. Oh, we don't want to talk about that one. We want to cover it up. But when you have a Republican in office, I guarantee you cities would have burned. I guarantee you have the smash and grabs again. I guarantee you the looting and the rioting would take place. People would shut down college campuses. It always happens under Republicans where they sit there and want to push this whole agenda. And you'll see it again. If Donald Trump's in office, just, I mean, you can literally write the script for it, what's going to happen. So in other news here, other than the fact that we have massive illegal immigration, our country's on high alert with terrorists in it and people that are raping and killing your children and your family. You also have this where Biden is repeating this fake story about Xi Jinping and the Tibetan plateau, then starts randomly screaming. So you guys are going to see this. You've heard this before, and I don't know why he thinks this is acceptable, but I've heard this is a form of like some sort of dementia or cognitive decline of why people with this type of diagnosis do these types of things.
I spent a lot of time with Xi Jinping, and they
I have it on
tape
full blast,
everything
by the
we
way.
say. I spent over 80 hours with them alone, over 17,000 miles in China. And they were in Tibet, near Tibet. And he asked me, can I define America for him? And this is a true story. I said, yes, in one word, possibilities. We believe anything's possible in America. Anything we set our mind to is possible. We are the land of possibilities.
Folks, I apologize for blowing your eardrums out, but I had to turn my volume all the way up just so you can hear him. And then he just starts screaming. Why are you yelling at us?
That's who we are. I spent a lot of time with Xi Jinping, and
Thank God he's gone, but also I kind of miss the guy. He would have been a great candidate to run against. So Biden says his goal is to cut American cancer deaths in half by 2020.
we're mobilizing the whole of country effort to cut American cancer deaths in half by 2020 and within 25 years. We're mobilizing.
Bro is living in the past. He's living in the past. This is the same guy that when he was running for the office of the presidency, he thought he was running for the office of senator, office of like the Senate, however you want to phrase it. This guy's clueless. He's gone. So here he is again. I just miss the clips. I really do, of this guy just off his rocker, and the fact that Democrats voted for this guy. Still no apology. No, we messed up. There's no reflection of what they did in the past of allowing this guy to run the country in the ground. So much so that they're going to vote for Kamala Harris in the millions. In the millions. So check this clip out.
What do you have to say about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine? Have you spoken with anyone in the Ukrainian government?
I've spoken with my staff on a regular basis, probably every 4 or 5 hours for the last 6 or 8 days. And it's creating a real dilemma for Putin. And we've been in direct contact, constant contact with the Ukrainians. That's all I'm going to say about it while it's active.
This dude actually has not picked up the phone and talked to Putin. Let that one sink in. We're going to solve the issue. We're going to figure it out. Remember that on the whole debate when Donald Trump literally punched through Joe Biden's body and destroyed the entire Democrat Party to the point where he had to drop out and they were all in a frenzy, and then didn't do democracy and putting forth a nominee, so they just chauffeured out Kamala Harris. Yeah, that whole thing basically performed a coup. Well, yeah, he hasn't picked up the phone, and he acknowledged it. Hasn't even talked to the guy, but he's trying to solve it, you guys. He's trying to fix the problem. And it's not just him that sucks, right? It's not just him that's just off his rocker and Kamala Harris. So's Kamala Harris's VP. So we have video clips here of Waltz saying Kamala goes to work every single day to make sure families don't just get by, but that they get ahead.
But Vice President Harris took that work ethic, goes to work every single day to make sure families don't just get by, but they get ahead.
Now, hold on. I know. Guys, I know. We just saw a clip that introduced the show on how you had a black woman from Philadelphia bawling her eyes out, saying, they're killing us. They're killing us without killing us. Complaining that she couldn't afford a bell pepper. So I'm going to play this again.
But Vice President Harris took that work ethic, goes to work every single day to make sure families don't just get by, but they get ahead.
Weird. Record inflation. Your gas prices are up. Let me see if I actually have it here. I had it queued up. Yeah, no, let's just play this. This was not part of the show, but I have it queued up for you.
Long-term interest rates have really embody already a significant expectations of a recession, that the Fed might cut a lot.
All right, let's play it again. No. I want to make sure you guys hear that. Remember, she's going to work every single day to make sure you guys get by. She's for the American people for the last 3.5 years.
Long-term interest rates have really embody already a significant expectations of a recession, that the Fed might cut a lot. I think given spending, given both parties what they want to do, given needs for defense and other things, populism, I don't see long-term real interest rates coming down from here. They might even go up. Long-term
interest might even go up. Just look at that, huh? Inflation, eggs as of July. Almost 20% in the last year alone. But don't worry, everything's down, you guys. Everything's fine. They're going to fix it. Remember, no, I mean, you hear from Democrats. They're going to fix it. They're going to make everything's working out just okay. Kamala Harris has shown up to work every day to make sure things go well. Now, that's not the only lie he told. He sat there and said that we have respect for our neighbors and we respect their personal choices. Well, why is this important? Well, because Waltz actually set up a snitch program. Like, he has a snitch line so neighbors could tattle on each other for not triple masking outdoors.
In Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and we respect their personal choices. Now, look.
You guys, Democrat areas locked up pastors, priests, and whoever's preaching the word of their faith for doing so under COVID. You couldn't even go to service. They were locking up. They were having the IRS knock on people's doors, snitching on each other.
It's not difficult. I might not agree with my neighbor's choices or make the same one. But this country's great because we have a golden rule that makes things work. We mind our own damn business on those things. We mind our own damn business.
Yeah. While the Democrats want to sit there and actually be able to look into your bank accounts, tax your unrealized gains. They're saying no tax on tips, but yet the Harris campaign wanted to make sure you're reporting your tips accurately so they could tax you on it. Yeah, no, mind your own business. Oh, you're right. You're right. I got to show you guys this really quick. This is wild. It just shows you the Democrat mindset and how far left they've gone. You can destroy an entire city. You can destroy your area. You could say anti-Semitic things and still get reelected here. Ilhan Omar wins the primary, you guys, for Minnesota. A progressive Democrat, a member of the squad, secured a significant victory in the Minnesota 5th Congressional District primary. Why do I want to bring this up? Because it doesn't matter. You can have Democrats pay for record inflation. You can have them lose thousands of dollars in the economy. You could sit there and you could send their fucking sons to war and die, and they will still vote Democrat. You can sit there and do anything, and they will still vote Democrat. There's situations where a city has never in the country's history been ran by a Republican, and it's just completely hollowed out. The taxes are through the roof. Crime is through the roof. Homelessness is through the roof. And you'll have people being interviewed that are lifelong Democrats saying that they will still vote Democrat because a Republican is going to destroy their city. I hand to God, I'm not making this up. It was a real interview. There is no connection or thinking for some of these people. They're so brainwashed that they're not even willing to take a gamble on a Republican just to see if they'll fix their city. You have nothing to lose at that point. If you have a Democrat that's been running your area for its entirety of this country since that inception of that area, and it's gone to waste, you would probably want to sit there and just make a gamble on putting forth a Republican just to kind of see what happens. If you don't like him, then sure, put somebody else back in. But they're going to vote progressive, you guys. Kamala Harris is more left than Ilhan Omar. Let that one sink in. And she drove her area into the ground, and it sucks, and people love it. They don't get it, you guys. They don't get it because they're not fully being impacted by it. Some are. But they don't mind the crime. They don't mind the homelessness. They don't mind the feces on the ground. They don't mind the boarded up businesses. They don't mind the highest taxes. They'll complain about it. They'll complain about it. But their words and actions are completely two different things. It is bonkers. It's wild. I've always said, I'm open about it. If I vote in a Republican in my locality, doesn't matter where I'm at, and they drive my area into the ground, they don't want to keep it safe. They don't want to sit there and decrease taxes. They don't want to sit there and actually be a representative of what I stand for. You're out. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. Get the hell out of office then. If you don't want to sit there and be a representative of the people and actually do your damn job, get the hell out of office then. And if you're a Republican, and if there's a Republican in office and a Democrat that's willing to hold my values, which is rare, I understand what I'm saying, but maybe there's a moderate out there nowadays, I will boot out that Republican that's not doing their damn job, and I will put in a Democrat that's at least willing to maybe do the damn job. And if he doesn't do it, then he's out as well. Then we got a whole problem on our hands. But it's just funny how people, oh, it's Democrat, she's going to do the job, she's going to fix it. Folks, the country is falling freaking apart. And I don't think Elon Musk is wrong. I think this election, man, I don't think we could do another 20 million illegal aliens. Our infrastructure just doesn't have it. It does not have it. There's a reason why we do a progressive system of only allowing so many people into the country, because one, we need to vet them. Two, there's a process to vet them so they can assimilate to our country and see if they actually want to make our country even better than what it was previously, because immigrants can do that. I mean, there's a lot of great immigrants have come to this country and created new products, innovated things, created charities, sat there and gave back to their communities and done astonishing and amazing things. I'm an outgrowth of an immigrant. My dad is from England. My dad immigrated here legally. So I'm a product of immigration. Not saying I'm a great contributor, but I'm trying my best to sit there and do certain things. But We can't allow this to go on, man. We can't allow the taxes to go up 70, 80% like Kamala Harris wants. We got to put back 4 Trump tax cuts. They're not going to fix anything, folks. And the fact that Democrats are being played on this is astonishing. We're on high alert, man. We are on high alert. There's a high possibility that something terrible can happen in this country. And I think these terrorists are just waiting to see what happens in the election. If Trump's in, I think they're going to do a terrorist attack. And then he's to blame, right? Oh, look what he's done. He can't protect the country. So we'll see what happens with it, folks. I always appreciate you hanging out in the morning with us. And speaking of morning, if you haven't checked this out already, what are you doing, folks? There's a thing called Morning Kick. So you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris, the guy freaking punched, right? Texas Ranger. Well, I recently saw a video that he actually made, and I was completely shocked because he's in his freaking 80s, you guys, and he's still kicking butt and working out and staying active. It's wild to see this guy. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and have even more plenty energy left over for his grandkids. I don't know how this guy freaking does it. So he's 80, doing kicks and doing backflips and stuff, and Joe Biden's out there deranged. He could do this by just making one change. He says that he feels like he's in his 50s. His wife has even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has more energy all day. Chuck has actually made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you go by and check out chuckdefense.com/studio, or by clicking the link in the description, or there's a QR code. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/studio, and click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. You won't believe how simple it is, folks. Check out your health. That's something I've been trying to monitor on the last few months. I've been starting to do push-ups and lifting weights again because I'm 25, 30 pounds overweight. It may not look like it, but I am. So I want to make sure I get something healthy out to the Patriots there. Make sure you take care of yourself. And that's why we do the vitamins and stuff like that. It's important, folks. We need to keep you guys around because we need the votes, and we also need to change this country and make it great again. And we can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself and you pass away because of some health issue or something like that. So want to make sure I get that out to you, folks. Thank you so much. We went a little long today, but I want to make sure that we actually got through an entire episode. Lately, I've had so much content that we're only getting through half episodes. Always appreciate all the donations, all the people that subscribe, the followers over at Rumble and YouTube, the subscriptions. You know, I don't plug this too much. Can we, let's do it. Why not? I don't know if we plugged the mug today. If you guys aren't aware, we do have a store. If you feel like getting merchandise, men and women, we have women's clothing too on here, you guys. So we have men's and women. We got mugs, t-shirts, stickers, all these things. The Shib got a shirt. Shib, by the way, the shirt looks good on you, brother. I'm not just saying that. That thing fits well. So make sure you get some merch. I know me and my wife are going to buy up some stuff too for ourselves. Make sure you grab something for yourself. So Karen Catmom, I'm going to kind of plug this one for you to get the man PT302 an American Patriot shirt. I mean, he literally is an American Patriot, right? We got to get the man a shirt. So with that being said, folks, thank you always so much for taking care of us over here and always having my 6. I always got your 6. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. Pray for this country, folks. Holy Lord. With that being said, folks, take care of each other. Pray for this country. Pray for your friends and family, your mother, your father, all those people, including our president, even if you don't like him. We got to pray for him because, God, he has to make some good decisions. And with that being said, folks, we'll see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show.